The promise everybody seems to be making on YouTube these days is give me 11 minutes and I'll delete your fear of failure. Like I've got a giant delete key on my keyboard just for your anxiety. Boom, fear gone. You're welcome. But you can't delete fear. You can't just flip a switch and stop caring. That's like telling a teenager, don't text your ex. Guess what they're doing right now? Texting their ex. Fear is a part of being human. Caring is a part of being human. The problem isn't that you care. The problem is you're caring about the wrong stuff. Now, before you think I'm just another internet philosopher with a nice microphone, actually, it's not even that nice. It's like $50, but it works. Here's why you should listen to me. I've spent my life performing on stage, reading minds, creating illusions, standing in front of audiences where failure isn't just embarrassing, it's catastrophic. I can't delete fear. I had to learn how to work with it. Train with it, dance with it, and channel it into something useful. I also study neuroscience and mental toughness, and then I translate it for you, a busy person who doesn't need to memorize brain chemistry to live a better life. And offstage, I work with high performers, executive athletes, leaders to give them their life back by helping them understand the power of routines. Because when your routines are built right, fear doesn't run the show anymore. You do. In the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you how to stop the fear of failure from running your life. Not by deleting it, but by retraining it. I'll show you what to care about, what to ignore, and the one daily routine that turns fear from your biggest enemy into your personal trainer. Now, you've heard the advice 1,000 times. Be fearless. Don't care. Just detach. It sounds cool in a t-shirt, but in real life, it's garbage. Here's the problem. If I tell you not to think about pink elephants, what does your brain do? Pink elephants. Even worse, if I tell you not to think about pink elephants while showing you pictures of them, boom, now you've got a pink elephant parade in your head. That's exactly what happens when we try to force ourselves not to care. The more you try, the more you spin in this anxious circle of over-caring about not caring, unless, of course, you're a sociopath, in which case, congratulations, you've already nailed it. You just got bigger problems. Fear of failure is human. It's part of your survival system. Caring is human. That's why you love. It's why you dream. The problem isn't that you care. The problem is what you care about. Care about applause? You'll freeze. Care about showing up today? You're free. Now here's where a lot of people get stuck. Detachment theory sounds sexy, like some modern neo-stoicism hack for life. Just detach, man. But let's be honest, if you're empathetic or creative, this is almost impossible. In fact, it's basically the exact thing that got the Jedi into trouble. Detachment leads to blind spots. It doesn't stop fear. It just turns you into a space monk who didn't see Darth Vader coming. It's not about caring less. It's about caring about the right things. Fear of failure fades when you stop caring about outcomes you can't control. You don't get to control the applause. You don't get to control who says yes to your pitch or who double taps your Instagram post. What you get to control is the process, the reps, the routines, the actions you'll take today. Think of it like a gym. You don't build strength by deleting weakness. You build strength by training muscles and pushing through the weakness. The same with fear. You don't delete it, you train it into fuel. So if you're a runner, you don't care about the race crowd, you care about finishing today's interval. If you're a parent, you don't care if the whole world approves. You care about one meaningful moment with your kid today. That shift, that's where the fear stops being boss and starts being the trainer in your corner to push you to grow, because some things matter. And if you don't have that natural sense of care for it, well, then you're not going to put your best into it. All right, here's where we make this practical. Every morning before you dive into the chaos of email or kids or TikTok telling you you're behind in life, ask yourself one question. What's my win today? Your win has to be controllable. Write 500 words. That's a win. Publish a bestseller? That's not a win. That's a fantasy and a guaranteed breakdown at Starbucks. You see, when you define your win as something you could actually do, you've already won the day before lunch. That frame becomes your anchor, and suddenly all the noise, the doubts, the critics, the fear of failure, it doesn't matter because you've already decided what success looks like today. And fear doesn't get a vote. This is the core of my core routine protocols framework. When you stack these daily wins, momentum builds. And momentum is kryptonite. Fear shrinks, confidence grows, and before you know it, you've built an entire life out of small wins that turn into big ones. Look at the word confidence. The root of it is to confide in. Literally what you're doing is you are confiding in yourself and telling yourself a true and good story about who you are. You do that by proving it to yourself every day with small wins. And look, this works everywhere. If you're trying to get fit, don't care about abs by Friday, care about finishing your workout today without crying in the parking lot. If you're parenting, don't care if your kid ends up being president, care about them reading a book tonight without falling asleep before they do. Stack enough of those controllable wins to suddenly fear isn't a monster in your head anymore, it's just background noise you barely notice. You don't delete fear, you retrain it. You don't stop caring, you choose what to care about. And when you define your win and move through it daily, fear doesn't run the show anymore. The day I stepped on stage in front of Penn and Teller, I definitely had nerves and even a little anxiety. I was performing a rather complicated and dangerous piece of magic in front of two people I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of. Instead of allowing that fear to overcome me, or just saying, I don't care about this, which would have been the biggest lie that I never would have believed, instead of doing that, what I did was focused on what I wanted to see happen. I went through the routines in my mind that allowed me to win, and guess what I did? I went on that stage and crushed it.
Derek Selinger.
So the next time some guru tells you just to stop caring, picture that pink elephant we talked about wearing sunglasses, sipping a latte, and remind yourself it's not about deleting, it's about training. If you want to train routines that beat fear every single day, I built something for you. 30 emails in 30 days. One insight, one practice, one small win you can stack. It's completely on me. The link is below because you don't need to become fearless. You just need to get focused.